welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new to my channel. I'm Shelly and I'm a full-time reseller on Poshmark, Mercari, and eBay. And if you want to check out any of my stores, I will have them all linked down below in the description bar. And you can also look me up by Shellbell Posh on everywhere, as well as Instagram. And I will also have my Instagram linked below. And today's video is a ship with me, so I'm going to be showing you what sold for me over the weekend. I actually only had Poshmark sales this weekend, which is okay. I am happy with what I sold, and I actually went ahead and added it up on how much I actually paid for these items and then how much I sold them for. So all of my cost of goods with these items was $111, and that is a little bit higher for me. I do have a few items that were a little bit higher, which I will tell you about when I get to them. And then my gross for this weekend was actually $781. So yeah, I'm really happy with what sold. And like I said, yeah, only Poshmark, so I will not have any eBay or Mercari in this video. And let's go ahead and get started. I use mostly the free USPS items. So I'm going to be using a lot of these Tyvek mailers, which are really nice, from the post office. And then let's go ahead and get started. I will tell you for these items where I got them from, and I will tell you the cost of goods as well. And that doesn't account though for like my taxes or shipping. Supplies is free for Poshmark because I do only use USPS items for Poshmark because I can use those under like Poshmark's guidelines with shipping and everything. But so for these items, I do not have any money into like poly mailers or anything. But so yeah, that's just what is being brought in. And then I of course have to take out my cost of goods, taxes, and things like that. So this first item is a pair of Torrid pants. And these sold for $25, and I picked these up at the Goodwill outlet. And typically, I believe this day it would have been about $2 per item. I usually am somewhere around $2 to $3 an item, just depending on what I pick up that day. But my bin's location is $2 a pound. And so yeah, so here is that item. And then our next item is another item that I got at the bins. This item is a tank top from Everlane. And again, like I said, this is from the bin, so about $2 of a cost of goods for me. And this also sold for $25. And I will have the little photos up somewhere, maybe on the side on the screen. And I did send out some 20% off offers. I typically send out 10% off like daily, and then occasionally I will send like 20% off or 30% off to kind of move some more stuff. So I did send out some 20% off offers, and I got a few sales from that, which was great. Okay, our next item is a Reformation top, and I actually got this pretty recently at a Savers, so that was probably... Actually, I think that would have been my last Savers haul, if you want to check that out. But this, my cost of goods for that trip was about $7 per item. I do like average out my items when I'm thrifting. It's just a little bit easier for me to do it that way. But yeah, here's that. So that sold for $27. And I found 3 of those t-shirts. And so far 2 have sold, so I only have 1 left now, which is great. And next we have a pair of men's shorts. These are Chubbies, and I love selling Chubbies. They sell pretty well most of the time. And these ones were just from the bins. They did have a little bit of like discoloration on them, and they still sold for $26. Let's wrap all of that up. So yeah, $26. So yeah, most of my items do come from the bins. but I do thrift in other places as well. So there's that item. And then our next piece is this swim top. And this was a new to me brand. It's my first time picking this up. And I picked it up at the bins. And it is the brand Lime Ricky. And this actually sold for $28. Which is, I think, pretty good for just a swimsuit top. And so there is that item. And then I'm going to rip off some of these labels. I do use a Dymo label printer, so that's why they're all like in a single batch of labels, which is really nice. And actually, if you want to know how to use the free USPS labels that you actually can just use with a normal printer, I will link that video below. I have it in my how to get started on Poshmark video number 2 or part 2. So I do show you how to use those labels, which is nice if you don't want to purchase a full label printer, because they are pretty expensive, and especially if you're just getting started or just doing it as some like part-time income or anything. So yeah, I will have that linked below so you can check that out. And then our next item is this Longchamp bag, and this I actually picked up at the Goodwill that is attached to the Goodwill outlet. It's just like their normal retail store. There's a couple threads on here that I'm going to cut off. And I picked this up, I think it was $6. Most of their stuff is $6. And it did have a few spots on it, but I actually threw it in the wash and it cleaned it up really, really nicely. So I was happy with that. And this sold for $45. And I'm trying to decide what I want to put this in. Will it fit in here? Okay, so for this bag, I'm actually going to use a poly mailer just because it's will be a little tight of a fit in a Tyvek. And I'm going to wrap it in a little bit of tissue paper as well. This bag is, I forget what this company is called, but I like these bags because they are made from 70% post-consumer plastics, which I think is cool. I'm just gonna get this in here, and most of my poly mailers I only use for eBay and Mercari because, like I said, I can use the free USPS shipping supplies for Poshmark, which is really awesome. Okay, let's get this in here, close this up. And then I'm going to grab my label, put that on there, and then there's that item. Our next item is a sweater, and this is from Athleta, and this as well I got at the Goodwill retail store that is attached to the bins, and their kind of base pricing is like $6 per item, so this was an item that was $6. And it's a really, really nice sweater. It was in great condition, which is why I picked it up, even though it was kind of off season. But it sold for $40, which I was very happy with. And I know I've said this in like most of my ship with me's, but if you have not watched any of them, I do try to fold over my bag as much as possible, and then I put the label over the seam as well, just to give it a little bit extra security. That way I don't have to use any extra tape or anything, which is awesome. And our next item is a men's t-shirt, It's a Lululemon t-shirt, and this I picked up in a Goodwill outside of Boston, and I believe this Costiga was either $8 or $9. It's usually a little bit higher for me when I'm thrifting around there because they usually do have items that are marked up, and so when I average it out, it makes it a little bit higher. And so this piece sold for only $25, but I'm still happy with that. It sold pretty quickly as well. I think it took like a month and a half or so. So pretty quick of a sale. And then our next piece is this t-shirt, and this is from the bins, and this is from J. Crew, and this sold for $20, which I think is pretty good for something that I picked up for around $2, and then I'm turning it around to $20. Of course, take out my Poshmark fee and everything, taxes, whatever, but that's still a good profit. And it also is just a plain t-shirt, so I'm very happy with that. There's that. Our next piece is a Bryn Walker linen. It's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of like a button-down blouse, but kind of a lightweight kind of overshirt, I guess you could say. And this came from the bins as well. And this ended up selling for $30. So that was a good price for that. And our next piece, I'm going to go ahead and tear this off so it's a little bit easier to handle. Our next piece is actually a pair of shoes. And so now this is one of the items that I did spend a little bit more on. And I'm going to use a USPS box. And this is actually called the shoe box. I don't know if it says it on here. Oh yeah, it does, shoe box. So that is this size box. And you can order any of these free USPS items on their website actually, and it's actually free shipping to you as well, which is awesome. But you have to use them for priority mail. You can't use them for first class or anything else. You have to use them, or like ground or anything, you have to use them for priority mail. And this pair of shoes is Olakai, and these I picked up at the normal retail store next to the, or inside of the Goodwill bins. And these were a little bit higher. They were marked them at $25 because they were new with tag, but I still decided to grab them, and I'm very happy I did because they sold for $80. So that was a great sale. And I'm going to wrap these a little bit in some tissue paper. Or yeah, tissue paper is another item that I pay for to add to my shipping. As you saw, I don't usually add it to every item, but for shoes, bags, things like that where it needs a little bit extra protection, I do add it. So I'm just going to wrap each individual shoe. And I believe like actual shoe boxes, like most standard shoe boxes, will fit in this box as well. So that is nice if you are selling shoes with like standard size shoe boxes. You can just put the actual whole box in there. You don't have to worry too much about shipping it. Okay, so there's that. I add a little bit on the top as well. And get this closed up and taped. All right. Okay, there's that. So yeah, $80 sale, awesome. I'm gonna put that away, but actually I'm gonna need it again in a second because I have another pair of shoes. So here we go. Here's that. And then our next item again is shoes. For these shoes, I'm going to use the medium flat rate box. This works really well for a lot of different things. For like smaller bundles, and a lot of shoes will fit in here as well. So this pair of shoes is some Vionics, and these I picked up, I actually don't remember where I picked these up. I've had them for a while, so I'm very happy to finally move them, and these sold for $28. And I'm gonna go ahead and put a little bit of tissue paper just in the shoe to kind of maintain the shape of it during shipping. But these I paid $4 or $5 for, I want to say. I think maybe they were just from a normal Goodwill, but I've had them for a while, so I'm happy to sell them. Just wrap these up a little bit. Okay, and just add a little bit of extra tissue paper on top, and then I will close this up. Alright, so here is this item, and our next item, I'm actually also going to use the same exact box. So I have another medium flat right here, and for this item, it is actually a blazer, which for like bigger sweaters, blazers, some jackets will fit pretty well in this type of box as well. So this blazer is my best sale of this weekend. It sold for $200, and this was a new to me brand, and I definitely would say it is a bolo. I actually found two of these items. They're both new at Tag. It was the last time I went thrifting around Boston, so if you want to check out that haul, it should be my last Boston haul. And yeah, both items were new at Tag, and the brand just retails for a lot. It is the Fold, and I'm going to be using a box just because it is a higher priced item, and also it's a little bit of a bigger item since it's a blazer, and I think it will fit better in a box. But yeah, this one sold for $200, which I was very excited about, and that thrift trip was about $8 per item. So that is really an amazing turnaround. And it also did not take too long to sell, about like a month and a half. And let's close this box up. And I will show you the other item as well that sold, which is funny that they both sold the same weekend to different people actually. And this was an item that sold with the my 20% off like offers I had sent. It was listed at $250, and then I sent out the 20% offers, so it went to $200 as well as discounted shipping, and someone accepted. So yeah, there's that. And then next, okay, we only have a few more items. So our next item is a pair of Madewell pants, and these came from a Savers. I think it was like $6 or $7. I just looked at all these prices, but I don't remember all of them off the top of my head when I was adding everything up. Yeah, so $6 or $7 from Savers, and these ended up selling for $40. It is a pair of Madewell pants. I'm gonna fold them up, and this I will just put in another Tyvek. Okay, so 3 more items after this item, and our next item is another sweater. I'm happy to move some sweaters in the summer, and this is from Everlane, and this actually came from the Buffalo Exchange, or a Buffalo Exchange. And so technically this item cost $25 at Buffalo Exchange, but when I take stuff to Buffalo Exchange, I take stuff from the bins, and then I will get store credit for those items, and then I buy more inventory to sell. So technically this item I didn't pay the full $25 for. I probably paid maybe like $10. I would have to do the conversion, which I don't have off the top of my head right now, for, you know, the items that I brought in that day from the bins. But so yeah, so I did include this just as $25 just to keep it a little bit simpler. So that again is another reason why my cost of goods was a little bit higher for this weekend. And this sold for $56, and this also sold with, when I sent out my 20% off offers. So I think, what was this listed as? 65, is that right? 70? Yeah, there's that. And our next item is the fold item. And this, like I said, I picked it up the same day. I believe they were both on a new rack actually, and I was like, what is this? Because it was new with tag and they felt pretty nice, so I did look them up, and the brand retails for a lot. Like that blazer I sold, I think it retailed for almost $500. So yeah, very high retail. And so this is a tank top, like a thick knit tank top. So this sold for $80. So it was around $8 at Goodwill, and then I sold it for $80. And this again was an item that was sold at 20% off. I had listed it at $100, and someone went ahead and accepted my 20% off offer. So there's that one. And then now our last sale, I'm gonna grab one more Tyvek, and this is a bra, and this I got at a Savers, and that was $6 or $7 usually. I don't remember this one exactly, but $6 or $7. And this was from the brand NYX, and this sold for $34. This brand does pretty well for me in like bras. I think I've sold a like tank top from them as well. I'm pretty sure that was this brand, but I found it a few times now, and I was happy with that price. I think that might have been also another sale that someone accepted my 20% off, but I don't remember for sure. So again, with when I send out offers, you do have to send out a discounted shipping on Poshmark at least. And so that's another thing I will have to take off after the Poshmark 20%, and then I will have to take off the shipping discount that I give for these items. But I'm still really happy with everything that sold this weekend. I wish I did get some eBay and Mercari. I cross-listed like 40 items last week over there on both of those, so hopefully we'll be getting some more sales from those two platforms as well. But Poshmark has been doing pretty well for me this month, so I hope it is doing well for everyone else as well. And thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe if you are not already. And you can also click the little bell notification if you want to be notified when I do post. I post twice a week, and I post all sorts of things reseller related, ship with me's, thrift hauls, going thrifting with me, and more things like that. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!